What is good, YouTube? Hopefully, you're all having a good day. This is Comic Chris speaking, joined by DCTV Show yet again. Thanks for coming on again, Ben, for the third week in a row now.
Thank you for having me. Looking forward to talking about DC.
Yeah. Speaking of DC, we're going to leave that to the final topic of today, because today I want to talk about something I wanted to talk about that we didn't get to discuss last week because there was no podcast last week. But you and I both went to MCM Comic Con last week, and unfortunately, you missed out, in my opinion, the highlight of the day, which was the panel for Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, because we got to see exclusive 35 minutes of footage from the movie. Now, I was going to make a separate video on this, but I figured it would be great to discuss it on this podcast. So that's why I wanted to start off the podcast with this 35 minutes of footage from Spider-Man. So, Ben, how do you feel about that movie going into it?
I missed it, which was to be honest, I'm gonna be straight up with you. I literally saw it as the panel was like halfway through. As I was about to leave, I was like, "Oh, let me check the main stage," and then I saw it said Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and I was like, "Oh shit, what happens if they're showing footage?" Because I saw footage for Mortal Engines, the new Peter Jackson film. So I'm really gutted because I'm really looking forward to this. I love the art style, the way that the animation is sort of comic booky more so than just pure animation, like 3D animation like they normally do. And obviously, massive Spider-Man fan. He's my favorite Marvel character, and it's pretty awesome to see a different version of Spider-Man, but also incorporating these different versions I find really intriguing. Yeah, so I've loved all the marketing material so far, so I'm really looking forward to it, and I'm kind of gutted.
Yeah. You should have stayed a bit longer because it was very good. It was very good. Like for me, I didn't know we were gonna get in because me and my friend, we went together. So we saw the panel. We were gonna leave when the panel started, but we were there at the right time. So we just said, you know what, let's just check it out. And thank God that we stayed for that, because it was, yeah, like I said, it was the highlight of the day for me. So yeah, what I think, how I feel about this movie before I talk about my thoughts on the footage. Miles Morales is my 12th favorite hero of all time. Yeah, I have a top 20. So I have a top 20 off the top of my head right now. But yeah, so Miles is my 12th favorite of all time. So yeah, obviously going into this movie, I'm very hyped for it because it's the first time we're going to see Miles in a movie capacity, or in the movie capacity. We've seen Miles in some animation, in some TV shows. Have you watched any of the Spider-Man TV shows?
I haven't seen a Spider-Man TV show since the 90s one. That's the one I always watch. I was obsessed with that, and that's basically where I have all my Spider-Man knowledge, really roots from there. Then I've read a few comics here and there, but mainly from there. So I haven't seen any recent ones.
Fair enough. I'm not gonna lie. I've watched all the new Spider-Man cartoons as well, because Spider-Man's my favorite hero. So I watched all of his stuff, no matter what. So yeah, I'm excited for Miles to get his big screen debut. But the only thing that I'm not too keen on, the only thing that I'm not very fond of regarding this movie is his suit. Because for me, it looks, I can see the similarities with the comic book, the actual comic book version of his suit, but for me, it's still a little bit different from what I kind of wanted. I wanted it to be more comic accurate. If you know, do you know what his comic accurate suit looks like?
Yeah, I've seen it, but like I said, I haven't read that many actual like Miles Morales comics,
Oh,
so I'm not that well into his character
okay, okay,
compared to a lot of
yeah,
other people. But yeah, I know roughly. Like sometimes, I think most of the time, doesn't he have the black suit?
yeah,
Right, the
yeah,
black and red.
yeah, black and red. Yeah, he
Mm.
has that. He it's the same. It's the same black and red in the actual movie, but I don't know how to explain the way the spider logo is in the suit in the movie is kind of different to how it is in the actual book, in the actual source material. So before we discuss the footage, I want to know, to what degree do you want to know about the footage? Like, Do you want to know details or just minor stuff?
Minor stuff.
Okay, so I won't spoil it. So for those of you who weren't at MCM Comic Con, don't worry. I'm not going to spoil it here, but I'll just give my overall opinion on the footage, and I'll say what I liked about it and what could have been improved. So I'll admit I've always feared that they had changed Miles Morales' origin a bit too much, to the point where it's literally a completely different origin compared to the original comic book origin. But after viewing the footage, I'm glad to say that those fears are now gone, as what we saw, even though it was different, it's still respectively close to the original comic book origin. So that's what I would say about that, which I really loved, because like I said, my fears were that it will be very different, to the point where it's not actually Miles Morales. They managed to respect his origin, but at the same time do their own thing in their own way. So it's kind of a case of they had their cake and they ate it too. Do you know the origin of Miles Morales?
No.
Okay, so when you watch the movie, when you watch Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, after you've watched that movie, then go and read Miles Morales' first run in the Ultimate Spider-Man comics, because I've read all those issues and it's one of my favorite Miles Morales story. Because yeah, so I really love his origin, and so yeah, I would definitely recommend that you go read it after you watch Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Yeah, definitely. So the villains in, from what we saw, for me, I feared that they might be a bit too cartoony, a bit too corny, but I generally liked the villains that were shown from what we saw in these 35 minutes. I generally liked those villains. They seemed kind of menacing, kind of threatening, and yeah, you just wonder how are these heroes gonna defeat these villains. I'm very glad about that as well, that the villains were done right. So do you know any of the villains that are gonna be in this film?
I know that there's Ultimate Green Goblin,
Yeah.
and I know what is it? The Prowler.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Okay, yeah.
Is yeah, that's all I can remember right now. I think I definitely know more, but I can't remember off the top of my head.
Should I say one more?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Kingpin is the third one that they have, and it seems like he's the main one. It seems like he's gonna be the main villain of the entire movie. That's what
Yeah.
these 35 minutes of footage led me to believe. But I could be wrong. It could be a bit someone else that we haven't seen yet. I don't know. But from what they showed us, it looks like Kingpin's gonna be the main villain out of all of them.
Kingpin. Yeah, that's the one. I totally forgot. I think he was shown in the trailer once. I was about to say it, and then I was sort of getting confused with the Spider-Man game, so I was like, yeah, maybe I won't say that. But yeah.
Yeah, Kingpin. Like it's kind of weird because Kingpin, this is the year of Kingpin if you actually think about it, because he appeared in the Spider-Man game.
So,
Obviously, he's one of the main antagonists for Daredevil season 3, and now he's one of the main antagonists for Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. So that's three different media appearances from Kingpin this year, which is kind of funny to think about. So yeah.
very true.
Yeah. Anyway, so what I would give this footage overall, I'll give this footage overall maybe in, from what we saw, 8 out of 10, because the visuals were stunning. Yeah, the visuals were stunning. The story from what we got was good. I won't spoil anything from what we saw, but the story was good from what we got so far. I'm really excited to see the movie come to us in December. I think it's December 21st when it's gonna be officially released worldwide. I think it's December. Or is that Aquaman? When is Aquaman released?
December the oh shoot December the 14th. That's it.
Yeah, there's a lot of movies coming out in December, like to the point where it's literally stacked. Like, I don't know why all these studios decide to release all these movies in that crowded month, because there's literally too many. Like, we have the Transformers movie, we have the Mary Poppins movie, we have the Spider-Man movie, we have the Aquaman movie, we have some other movies as well that I can't remember off the top of my head, but is actually literally too crowded.
Yeah, which one are you gonna see out of all of them? Out of
Um,
those four: Spider-Man, Aquaman, Mary Poppins, or Bumblebee? Which one?
not gonna see. I'm probably not gonna see Mary Poppins. Bumblebee. The only reason why I might see Bumblebee is because of John Cena. Of course, I'm a huge wrestling fan, so John Cena is obviously a wrestler. So that's the only reason why I might see Bumblebee. But um, yeah. So Bumblebee, Aquaman, and Spider-Man. Those three.
What's your order though? One, two, three.
Okay. In what order? Okay. So Aquaman number one, number two Spider-Man, number three Bumblebee.
And my order would be number one Aquaman, number two Mary Poppins, number three Spider-Man, number four Bumblebee.
Okay, fair enough. Anyway, so before we go on to DC, I want to talk about one more Marvel thing, and that is, of course, Daredevil season 3. Have you watched it yet?
Um, I'm kicking myself, but I still haven't caught up. I've been ridiculously busy, and I'm literally like trying to watch. There's like two shows I'm trying to catch up and watch. I'm trying to watch The Haunting of Hill House, and I'm trying to watch Daredevil, but I just have not got round. It's always in my head, but hopefully sometime really soon.
So you're telling me you haven't watched a single episode yet of Daredevil season 3?
Oh, and I was really excited for it.
Okay.
I'm just really busy.
Okay, so hopefully after I give you my opinion, you're gonna feel the urge to watch it immediately. So let me just give you my opinion. So I honestly think this is 100% the best season of Daredevil we've ever had. Number one. Number two, it's the best season of any of the Netflix shows we've ever had. That's number two. Number three is in my top 2 seasons of any Marvel DC show of all time. Number one, number one,
Wow.
yeah, yeah. That's how good it was. Number one was Arrow season 2. The reason why I'm not saying Daredevil's number one yet is because I need to rewatch Arrow season 2 because it's been quite a while since I last watched Arrow season 2. And it has a special place in my heart because I really love that season. That's why it's my number one season of any Marvel DC show of all time. But yeah, I need to watch it again before I can say, yeah, this is still my number one, or no, Daredevil has now taken over. But yeah, that's how good Daredevil season 3 is. It was just mind-blowingly good. There was an action scene in episode 4, I think, episode 4 or 5. I think it was episode 3 or 4. I can't remember which one. Where it's just one of the classic hallway fight scenes, but this one was like they took it to another level. I'm not gonna say what happened, but this one they took it to another level. So when you watch it, like you will know that it's just instantly better than what they've ever done before. The villains, Kingpin and of course Bullseye, because we know because of the trailers that Bullseye is in this finally. Because I've been clamoring for Bullseye since the series ever started because I love Bullseye. He's one of my favorite Marvel villains. He's very menacing and like he's very dangerous. Because if he wants to kill, all he has to do is just pick up anything, even if it's like maybe a piece of paper, he can just kill you with it. He's very scary for me. That's why I like Bullseye, and that's why I was very glad to have him in this season of Daredevil. Kingpin and Bullseye, the two big bads for this season, and they knocked it out of the park. How do you feel about Vincent D'Onofrio's portrayal of the Kingpin so far, from what you've seen in all the shows so far?
How I feel about Kingpin overall, do you mean?
Yeah, overall.
The only places I've seen him, obviously, is in Daredevil. I haven't seen season 3 yet.
Yeah.
I really like him.
Yeah, it's the same
I
with me.
think he's one of the best villains.
Yeah, that's the same with me. Like, I really like him. And before Daredevil season 3 came out, my best MCU TV villain was Kilgrave. After Daredevil season 3, after Daredevil season 3, it's probably gonna be Kingpin now. It's probably Kingpin now. Probably. I think he's exceeded Kilgrave, who was of course from Jessica Jones season 1. He was just very good in this season. I love the way Vincent D'Onofrio portrayed Wilson Fisk. To be honest with you, all the actors in this season of Daredevil, it's like they gave their performance of a lifetime. In my opinion, it was everything about this season was so good for me. Like, I don't know what you're waiting for. You have to watch it as soon as possible because it was very good. Yeah,
Yeah, my favorite villain in Marvel TV is I really 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 like Punisher season one. Punisher season one's my favorite of the Netflix,
yeah.
and I really like Billy.
Yeah, I like Billy Russo, and he's gonna be in Punisher season 2, which is of course coming out next year as well.
Yeah.
And for a while, when Punisher season 1 first came out, I did say that it was the best Netflix season. But then after a second viewing and after watching Daredevil season 1 back to back along with the Punisher season 1, I said it's not like don't get me wrong, it's still in my top 3 best seasons of all the Netflix shows, but it's not number 1 anymore as it originally was. I here's okay, so here's my new ranking of the Netflix seasons. So number 1, of course, Daredevil season 3. Number 2, Daredevil season 1. Number 3, we have Punisher season 1. Number 4, Daredevil season 2. And the only reason why I say Daredevil season 2 is number 4 and not in my top 3 is because of the second half of the season when they turned their attention to the Hand. I really don't like the Hand at all. That really dragged the season down for me. But if they focused on just the Punisher stuff all season, then I definitely would have said Daredevil season 2 would have been better than Daredevil season 1, probably better than the Punisher season as well. So you've seen Daredevil season 2, isn't it? Haven't you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So how do you feel about that season?
I really like it. I still prefer season one.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a very solid season. I think it's better than better than Iron Fist, better than Luke Cage, better than Jessica Jones, in my opinion. Yeah, I think it's really, really good. But obviously, I feel like the back half maybe lets it down a bit, like you said.
Yeah, 100%. I'd agree with that. So before we move on to the DC stuff, let me give my final rating for Daredevil season 3, and I would honestly give it a 9.5 out of 10. I'll give it a 9.5 out of 10. I just love that season so much.
That's solid.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe after the second viewing, I might be a bit cool on it, but I doubt it because everything about it was just very good. But yeah, anyway, let's move on to let's move over to the Arrowverse now. And in Arrow, Oliver has a prison buddy named Stanley. Now, credit to Warstu because I think this was last week. He brought up something on Twitter last week that I found quite interesting, worth discussing on this podcast. Oliver, for the past couple of episodes, has been on the hunt for a guy named the Dragon. So do you think that Stanley, who is of course Oliver's buddy in prison, do you think that Stanley is the quote-unquote dragon that Oliver is looking for, and he's just been playing the innocent guy all this time?
So the way he's looking for the demon, he said.
Oh yeah, sorry, not Dragon, the demon. Yeah, I don't know. Sorry, I was thinking about Richard Dragon, but yeah.
Yeah. I think that. I don't necessarily think that he's going to be a bad guy, but I think there's a possibility that he could turn. I think he isn't as simple as he's been presented so far. But I think there is a possibility that he is the demon. When I was watching the episode and he was looking for the demon, obviously, for the past few episodes, I've been thinking it's probably someone that he knows. It's probably someone that's hiding it so far, and I think it will be a big revelation. So, I mean, it would be a really, really good revelation if it is Stanley. I think they'll be like, what the? You know, everyone will be freaking out because no one expects that. So I think it will be a good twist. But if I personally say right now, if I'm guessing who the demon is, I don't think I would say Stanley, but it would be a nice reveal if it was him, because obviously he's very unsuspecting to do with how he's been portrayed so far. So I think it would be a nice reveal, but right now I don't think there's like really much evidence to prove that he could be.
Fair enough, fair enough. So I definitely I see where you're coming from, and for me personally, I don't think that he is the demon, but I definitely don't think he's the innocent guy he claims to be also. I definitely think that he's involved with the demon somehow, because remember in episode 3 a few weeks ago he said the line, and I quote, "Don't trust anyone." So immediately, whenever someone says this in any show or a movie, like that's definitely a sign that they are definitely not to be trusted. And if you refer back to what was that Star Wars movie again? I forgot. The Han Solo. Yeah, that's the Han Solo movie. That's an example of someone saying you can't trust anyone, and then the person who said that turns out to be the guy that you can't actually trust. So I definitely feel that Stanley can't be trusted in this instance.
Yeah, I think there's something deeper.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So there was no Flash today, but it was Supergirl, Legends, and Black Lightning. Um, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not caught up with Legends or Black Lightning yet. With Legends, I literally only started watching Legends episode 1 this week, because my TV schedule has been literally full every day of the week. I have a show to watch, because for me, I watch all these shows whilst I'm eating dinner. So that's when I particularly like to watch all these shows. So that's why I only have watch like one of these shows a day. So that's why I haven't watched Legends or Black Lightning as of much just yet, because I was watching Daredevil season 3, and obviously you know how I feel about that. So yeah, so I wanted to get the season over and done with, because I wanted to finish it as soon as possible, because I loved it so much. But yeah, I've only just started to watch Legends and Black Lightning this week. So yeah, there was no Flash this week, but Supergirl. I know there's a lot of hate going towards Supergirl, and how do you? Because I know you didn't like how it started. So how do you feel about it now?
So as you know, we talked about it previously.
Yeah.
I wasn't a fan of episode 1 and 2. I thought they were just average, and I don't think the writing worked very well. That was my main complaint. But episode 3 with Agent Liberty was outstanding. I had no complaints at all. I really, really enjoyed it. And then episode 4, Ahimsa last week, was a really solid episode. I thought it progressed and it sort of let loose of some of the ties that I felt personally was holding it down, and that was mainly the twins, the brother and sister, who used to work for Lex. I did not like them, and that's just like one thing that they're throwing away. Now Agent Liberty's in control. I like that, because I thought episode 3 with Agent Liberty was just outstanding. So last week I gave it 4 stars out of 5 on my review. So I thought this is a good step into redeeming the season from the first 2 episodes, in my opinion.
I would agree with that. I definitely think episode 3, which was the Agent Liberty origin episode, that was definitely the best episode of this season. And I would compare this episode 3 of Supergirl, which was the Agent Liberty episode, to the villain episode or in one of the Daredevil season 3 episodes, which was the origin of Bullseye. Because you know how all these Netflix shows typically love to have a episode dedicated to the villain to show their origin. That's what they did with Bullseye in Daredevil season 3, and I would compare this to that, because I love how both of them handled the way they portrayed the origin, even though they're two completely different origins, but the episodes, those 2 episodes, I love those kind of episodes, because if done well, it's done very well. And I think that's it. Yeah, and I feel like it was done very well in this instance regarding Supergirl episode 3.
Definitely, I think it's a massive improvement from episode 1 and 2.
Yeah, definitely. Anyway, those are all the topics for this week's podcast. Thanks, Ben, for coming on. We'll see you next week. And what do you guys think about all the topics that we discussed? Let me know what you guys think. Share your thoughts down below in the comments. So thank you, Ben, for coming on again, and we'll see you next week. If you guys like this, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, subscribe to Ben if you haven't subscribed to him already. I'll leave his link in the description so you can go and check him out. And I'll see you guys later for more videos.